everyone. Welcome back to Heartland Mamas. Welcome to Tuesdays and Thursdays live Facebook stream. I'm Murri Briel.
And I'm Heidi Henry, coming to you from the edge of the Great Red Divide. You can find us at Heartland Mamas, MAMAS.com, on all podcast platforms, on YouTube, and of course our Tuesday, Thursday live stream on Facebook. So, Murri, today we're going to talk about why Biden.
Yes, so really excited to talk about this topic. Heidi has been wanting to do this show for some time. Mm-hmm. And so, let's start off. I'm going to let Heidi lead this one. Heidi, why Joe?
Well, Joe was not my choice. I was a Warren supporter. I think you were a Warren supporter. I'm a progressive. I'm not a Bernie progressive because Bernie's not a Democrat, but I'm a progressive Democrat. So Warren spoke to me. Her platform was very much spoke to my values. And, last year we spent a lot of time getting to know, going to watch all the presidential candidates speak. We went to the Iowa caucuses. We did everything we could do to try to be informed about all of the candidates. And you and I got to go see Joe. I saw him at the steak fry in Des Moines, and then we went to go see him in Davenport.
Small setting.
Yeah, it was a very small setting. And he didn't have a whole lot of what we call in the political world game. He didn't have a lot of game. He had very poorly printed materials. He had disorganized staff. It was just not good. And I told you that I predicted he was going to drop out and give his weight behind somebody else. And you said, no. He's in it for the long haul. So we were wrong. I was wrong on that. And I think the eye opener for me that Biden was going to be the winner was when we were at the Iowa caucuses. And the reason he was going to be the winner, I felt overall, is because of how people felt safe with him. They were really interested in Biden or in Warren. They were really interested in Bernie. They were really interested in Buttigieg. But when it came down to voting, they gravitated toward Biden for the safeness, the saneness, the stability.
Security.
And I think that's why Biden is the one that the people picked. Now, when it came to primary time in Illinois, my candidate had dropped out. So it was a Biden vote for me because, what's my alternative? Nobody else was really in the race at that point except for him or Bernie, and Bernie's not a Democrat. That's why I've never been a big Bernie supporter. Sorry, Bernie supporters, but if you're going to run to be a Democrat on the Democratic ticket, you should be a Democrat. I think that's true with Trump. He's not really a Republican, but he's co-opted their party. And I think the same thing with Sanders is that not a Democrat, wants to be president, but can't commit to the party platform, can't commit to being a Democrat. So that's why I'm not a Bernie supporter, because bottom line, I'm a Democrat. Bottom line, I will vote for whoever primaries through. That's just who I am. I usually vote straight ticket. I have voted straight ticket at least since 1990. I mean, I just stopped voting Republicans because I couldn't see any of them steering us in the correct place, except for one of my friends who is the sheriff. But nobody ever runs against him, so. But Murri,
I can tell you.
Yeah, go ahead.
And when we talk about voting blue no matter who, I don't agree with that. I think that in the current political environment, in the current status of the United States, meaning the two-party system, you do have to vote blue no matter who. But voting blue no matter who is how we get the substandard and the centrist that does not favor the people, but favors capitalism, that favors mercenary capitalism,
well,
that favors power. So I think 100% I will vote blue. I always have.
Yeah.
As we move forward, when the world starts to stabilize a little, which may be
30
years from now.
I'm thinking 3 decades. I'm thinking 3 decades.
Okay, so see, I think that the stabilization will happen within 2 or 3 years, but there will be enough upheaval has occurred that now is a really good time for progressives, both parties, kind of redefine We know what the Republican Party stands for, but the Democratic Party stands for so much. So I think that the progressives will have a real opportunity in this movement forward, even under Joe, to make an impact that they haven't had before.
Well, you know, he's had a lot of close counsel with Warren since really he emerged as the choice of the people. And so Biden's been talking to her, and she has been, if you listen to him talk now, he says a lot of Warren things. He says a lot of progressive Democratic things. And I've told you over and over again, since FDR, the Republican Party has tried to strip the New Deal away, okay? And every step we take toward the center, and Biden's a centrist Democrat, we take towards the right, towards the Republican Party, instead of staying true to our ideals of FDR, of New Deal politics. And we give up the important ground that was earned for working people and poor people in the New Deal every time we take a step to the center. And with Biden being a centrist Democrat, you know, I loved his speech on foreign policy. I loved it when you and I heard him in Davenport. I loved his speech.
He has mad chops. He's kind of hawkish, but he has way better understanding of how international relations work.
Exactly.
Than, by far, if you're comparing apples to jackasses, he's an apple every day of the week.
Well, and I agree. I mean, in the upcoming election, we have a choice between ending democracy and going to an authoritarian regime or Joe Biden. So you don't get a choice. You can't pick a third party. You're either going to stand for the United States or you're not. And that's exactly. And every time John Bolton opens his damn mouth and says he's going to write somebody in, I just want to slam it shut. He is such a treasonous walrus. I can't stand him, but that's for another show. I think for Biden, though, you know, we get down to talking about, so wait a minute, why Biden? Why Biden? People picked him because they want security. They want sanity back. They want Obama back. And Obama can't come back, so they'll take Biden. That's why we're here, you know. They didn't want...
People did. I will support whoever they voted for because I believe in democracy. Mm-hmm. We'll vote for whoever the majority of the people...
picked.
...leave in, then hey... I'm going to go along with you, whether I think they're great or not. And that's not about voting blue no matter who. It's about respecting each other and going, hey, all right. And we all know sort of why I think there was such a big push behind Biden, because as Super Tuesday approached, the pandemic was swelling, and people were absolutely panicked to make sure that we have some competent response.
Well, because we didn't have a competent or cohesive response to anything since January 21st, 2017. Everything has been a crap basket, you know, and every day we wake up and wonder, what the fuck did he do last night? And here I got us non-monetized.
How have we awoken to?
Well, every damn day. And the thing is that...
That's why Biden, too.
That's why Biden.
Chances are... he will wake up in the morning and
not tweet Pootie.
And you can't wake up at 6:30 in the morning and by 9 o'clock have 3 tragically damaging, breaking stories about how horrible things are going. By the time 10 comes, you've got 2 more. You can't even keep track. So while Biden will have his faults, Biden will have his stumbles. I'd much rather have a stumble of 120 million instead of 120,000.
Right.
That's a gaffe I can handle.
Right.
Rather than white power video.
Oh my God! How can he
on the president's freaking Twitter account?
How can he talk with Putin about bounties on our soldiers' head? I have got nephews in the Middle East. I have got a client of mine whose husband is heading for the Ukraine for a year. Those are hot places. And when you know that the president of Russia is paying a bounty on our American soldiers' heads, oh my God. I wept yesterday thinking about all the people I know that are over there right in the thick of this. And our president does not... Yes. Does that
I'm going to go out on a limb here.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a big statement here. I want everyone to realize I'm claiming this.
Okay.
Joe Biden will not allow bounties on the heads of our soldiers. Will go after whoever puts a bounty on our soldiers' heads.
You know it.
Reason number 9052
to vote for Biden.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because the alternative is this horrible orange Oompa Loompa man who doesn't give a shit about anybody but himself and his daughter. That's it. That's all he cares about, you know? And I'm tired of it. The country's exhausted from it. And when I talk about 3 decades out, I think it's going to take 30 years to repair the damage from the Trump administration, to repair the credibility in the world of the United States to the rest of the world. I think for 30 years we're going to have to sit out of every war. Our history in this country is marked by war. It's incremented between war to war. This is what we did between Korea and Vietnam. This is what we did between World War I and World War II. No, we have to stop marking time by war and marking time by progress.
Do you ever notice, Heidi, that when you're learning war, or when you're learning history, you're exactly right. We talk about war, inventors, major milestones. But when they talk about war, it's very vague. It's the battles that happened. It doesn't go into the socio-political reasons why. At least in high school, you should be going into those so that you learn not to repeat mistakes.
But we don't talk about that. We have not won a war since World War II. We've not won a war since World War II because we go to war for stupid-ass reasons. Stupid-ass, shitty reasons. And we have got to be done with that.
One of our listeners just came out with a question, a comment, and she's absolutely right. Damage to the environment.
Oh my God. Global warming is the existential crisis of our lifetime, of our world's lifetime. We are killing ourselves.
These giant viruses that are emerging from the Arctic because it's melting that are going to kill us after this pandemic hits?
Well,
that might have something to do with that.
The thing is that we've been so distracted from the global crisis that we're in, from the warming crisis, from pollution, from ruining our planet with all of these other things, that we have lost ground on that very important measure. And Murri, I've been a climate activist since I was 7 years old. I had a cat named Ralph Nader. So that is near and dear to my heart. And I can't wait till we have some sanity in the White House so we can get back to saving this planet. And you know who it's going to take? It's going to take Elizabeth Warren with some advice from Tom Steyer to get this stuff done. Seriously. We have to.
Tom Steyer in a cabinet position. I think that would be perfectly acceptable.
Oh, he would make such a great replacing Sonny Perdue. or let's see. I lost my place here, but who was our Pruitt? Well, Scott Pruitt. Oh my God, would that be awesome, huh? Well, Scott Pruitt's gone. Now we have Andrew Wheeler, who is
Marion Joseph. You're right.
Yeah.
Andrew Wheeler. We just talked about him on a show. We
did, and he's never met a coal fire he didn't want to feed. The guy.
And he allowed for GMO mosquitoes.
Yes.
To be entered.
Even Scott Pruitt wouldn't touch sex death mosquitoes.
Pruitt.
But Wheeler will. So she's absolutely right.
He never met a coal mine he didn't like. Said, hey, genetically modified mosquitoes are probably a bad idea.
Yeah.
In walks Wheeler, and he says, let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do that. So we need to have, Biden needs to, I think he's got a good working knowledge of the environmental concerns that we're under. Does he have the guts to put the pedal to the metal, so to speak, and do the hard work? We've got to get back into the Paris Climate Accord. One of the first things, and he has said that's one of the first things he's going to do. We've got to get back into that. And that's going to help us. Stan and I just bought a new car. We went shopping for an electric car. There's limited availability for vehicles that have really great gas mileage because Trump has rolled all that back. So even though the car manufacturers haven't changed that much, the opportunities and the types have lowered. So we need to get back on track with those things. So
just look at what the Trump administration did, the Department of Justice did. The California automakers decided that they should reduce emission standards as a group, as a group of manufacturers. And the Department of Justice went after them.
I know.
Are you kidding?
Listen, this is the same guy that wrote a brief in the middle of the night to remove healthcare from millions of people during a global pandemic, and it was already working its way through the Supreme Court. So
there's another reason. Let's talk about healthcare.
Yeah.
There's a desperate, absolute 100% need for healthcare.
Yeah.
It is, Obamacare, I know there is so much, it didn't go far enough. I'm 100% on board. But it was the start. And what people forget is the biggest thing for me personally that came out of Obamacare was the ability to be covered without considered having a pre-existing condition.
Exactly.
That and the ability for people to be able to be gig workers with insurance.
Right.
And the ability without having junk policy.
Right. Who's the king of junk policies? Our dear son-in-law, Ivanka's husband, Jared Kushner, king of the junk policy. King of, here's what he wants. He wants people to work really hard to save you, but he wants you to die anyway. Because that's how his policies work. That's how his policies are sold.
All right. We've already hit foreign policy. Talked about how Joe will be way better than the environment and what we're facing right now with all of the crisis that we have.
Yeah.
He talked about his ability to manage a pandemic. What else? Why else do we vote for Joe? He's an old white guy.
Well, okay, I know he's an old white guy, but
so Donald Trump.
Well, but he understands race relations. He understands, and he's done a lot of personal evolution and policy evolution on this. Yes, people.
I'm glad you brought that up, Heidi.
Yeah, because Kamala Harris called him out on segregation issues. I think as a country we've evolved on race relations. I think that we're more compassionate, more understanding. I think we've grown up a little bit on this issue. And we need somebody who's going to drive it home, because we cannot have any more George Floyds. We cannot have any more Breonna Taylors. We cannot have any more Philando Castros. We just can't. We can't. These are people who, I think I told you in one of our shows, I know I broke down crying because I think about all these young people that have been murdered, not just by the police, but have lost their lives due to poverty and drugs and gun violence and so many other things. And I think of all the, we laud Einstein. How many of them have died? How many of them have been killed? How many brilliant people have we lost because we cannot end systemic racism? We cannot seem to move past it.
I think that Joe has evolved, and like you said, maybe wasn't the most progressive. He's more of a centrist. But I really believe that the intent is good, and that's not meaning that everything he does is good. He's goofy and he's sleepy, but the intent is true and genuine. And right now, I'd much rather have someone with an actual, genuine empathy, compassion, or love for the American citizens, what we have right now.
Murri, when we were in Davenport, and I know you got shoved out of line as we were in line to go meet Joe, person to person, and I wanted to thank him for ACA, because ACA going through the Affordable Health Care Act, Obamacare, whatever you want to call it, kept my husband and I out of bankruptcy when our son was so ill. And because every year Blue Cross would redline us, you've used enough of you don't have any more coverage left. And every year we went $240,000 in debt that we ended up paying off. It took us about 15 years to finally get it all paid off. And as you know, I just bought a new car because it all of a sudden dawned on me I'm not impoverished anymore. But we were so broke for so long because our son was sick for so long, and even after he grew up and was on his own with insurance, we still had that debt to pay off, and that went on for quite a while. And so I wanted to thank Joe because it changed our lives, and made the ability for my son to go back to college, for him to finish his degree, and for him to move on in his life. And those are really important things. And when you said compassion, he was so empathetic, and he touched my heart with his empathy. And we don't have that right now.
Genuinely caring man.
Yes. Yes.
His personality, regardless of his stutter or gaffes or his age, is truly a genuine human being.
Yes.
Someone who is going to make mistakes, who is going to grow like we all do. Someone who desperately wants to do what is best.
Exactly.
That I can get behind. Another major reason why, Joe? Justices.
Oh my
gosh!
gosh!
Talk about the Supreme Court, but not just the Supreme Court. Let's talk about federal justices.
200.
Those who've never set foot in a damn courtroom.
Yeah, we have
been appointed as federal judges.
Listen,
this is bananas.
It is terrible that we have put so many unqualified people. As long as the federal society backs them, which we know is just a handful of people. As long as they back these judges, because they're ultra-conservative, they're going to get an appointment. And the damage that Mitch McConnell has done to our federal judicial system, you know, Murri, I do expect a round of impeachments of these justices within the next 4 years. You know.
Did you see today Susan Collins?
Oh, God, Susan Collins. No.
Guys, for those of you who don't know, we do a series called Ousting 8, which now is like 32 because all of them are vulnerable. Susan Collins is one of the ones that we did, and we focus on her connections to dark money, her inability to make a decision, her waffling, how everyone mistakes her with the previous senator.
Yeah, with obese now.
We have dinged Susan Collins so many times, and this woman is the same senator who, after the impeachment hearing, said, well, I think he learned his lesson. I think he did.
Yeah, he did not learn
his lesson. This is the same woman.
He can't learn a lesson.
Kavanaugh,
yeah.
And then went today when the Supreme Court ruling denied the challenge from the state of Louisiana keeping reproductive health rights safe. She said, I am shocked that Kavanaugh voted that way. I didn't know he was not pro-choice.
Oh,
freaking, are you kidding me? Please, Sarah, who is running against her? Who won the primary?
I can't
Sarah
remember.
Gideon?
Yeah, Sarah Gideon.
We need that she wins.
Well, you know, I sent money to that fund that goes to fund whoever is facing Susan Collins. She's not going to get reelected, and I expect an impeachment proceeding against Kavanaugh because we know that he's got other charges against him, sexual assault charges against him. They just haven't. They're just waiting. As soon as we have a change in president, I fully expect him to be impeached. So he's not worthy. Yeah, he's not worthy.
One of our listeners, Chris, a representative candidate running in Iowa.
Awesome.
We're going to have Miss Chris Adcock on the show.
She's amazing.
Yes, Chris. Susan Collins really said that this morning after the SCOTUS ruling. I know. I kind of screamed a little. Gotta lost my shit just a little bit because that woman just pushes me over the edge.
She does.
Oh, Lord, she does. So she just brought up that, Stephen Colbert, Jon Stewart was talking to Stephen Colbert about why Biden isn't just the right candidate. He must beat Trump, but why? Due to his deep understanding of personal pain, struggle, and strife, he is the emotional blanket we need.
Right.
He is the healing balm that is able. He's just, he's another up. Instead of calling him sleepy, we'll call him calming.
You know what?
Joe Biden. That's a way to.
You and I met him, and I was up close and personal with him. I was, face to face with him because it was so loud. So he leaned in, and I leaned in so I could hear him, and so he could hear me. And that's not creepy. That's just being conscientious and trying to understand what I'm trying to say, and me trying to hear him. But the guy is tan, rested, and ready, and it wasn't makeup. He looks good up close, and
Biden. Because Biden is in a much better physical condition than
No kidding. Then the Fat Oompa
Another
Loompa.
reason why Biden. Why Biden? Biden can drink a glass of water with one hand.
With one hand. Did you see that?
Hand. Look.
Yeah. Did you see that picture of Angela Merkel raising a stein of beer with one hand? Trump can't.
Oh my God.
I know. So now
Biden can walk down a ramp.
I know we're getting close to, yes. He can run up the ramp too. I saw that video. But I want to talk a little bit, just touch briefly, because I know we're running out of time, on running mates. And I'm so pleased that Joe is going to choose a woman, to run with him. And I know that the big push right now is for a woman of color. All right. Either Tammy Duckworth or, where's my list here?
Demings, Stacey Abrams,
yes.
Ayres,
Susan Rice, all of those people.
Love Val Demings. Just gonna say, Val Demings is a progressive warrior lady of the most of them. I think she'd be great. I still am pushing for Kamala as AG. Even though I'd love her to be vice president, I still would love to see her
as AG.
Really could make Katie Porter AG. She's a ferocious tiger.
She is.
Katie Porter,
I love her. But, here's me. I'm still hoping for Warren. Not a woman of color.
No. I love Elizabeth. And it's not even her progressive stand that makes her... She doesn't have... Location-wise, not a fit.
I know.
Age-wise, not a fit. She, it just wouldn't be as beneficial to him. Or I think... progressive-wise... Cory Booker was a woman. That would be okay, too.
Oh.
Cory's very progressive.
No, Cory Booker. Cory Booker's a centrist. Come on. He's from Jersey. Cory Booker?
But he makes Joe Biden
look like he's still
like Bernie.
Yeah. Oh.
Let's be honest, okay? Val Demings is probably the most progressive of all of the potential running mates.
Okay, so I always think about who could step in if something happens to Biden. Of all of those people...
Anybody.
Anybody, I suppose, but I think about that and I think I could be very comfortable with the President Warren, but I don't think I'd be comfortable with the President Abramson. Did we talk about Stacey Abramson? She's amazing, but I don't think she has enough experience. So, Stacey Abramson.
That's why it matters. Heidi, we talk about a lot of this a lot, and I didn't really ever think about it. We would need to know who would be best. I mean, it's not even a question in some ways. Anything is better than what we have now. But you may bring up a really good point that I tend to forget about, and that's, in this case, the VP might be very, very important. I think you're right. Not sure that, and I'm sorry, Tammy Duckworth. I would not like have a President Duckworth. I don't think she has the experience, and she is so centrist and has made no waves. So, yeah, you're right. I don't think I would want a President Abrams. And,
and some have indicated that Biden will be just a transitional president and only serve 4 years because of his age. And if he does that, then the vice president would be hopefully the heir apparent to the seat. Depends on if the Republicans can regroup, because trust me, they're going to come after whatever. They're not going to give up. I mean, they've made so many gains in being able to pollute and being able to stack the courts and being able to oppress women. They're not going to give up without a fight. So,
did you see today Mitch McConnell tweeted that you need to wear a mask? Wear a mask?
Yeah.
Wear a mask? About fell out. The best was a meme that said, telling people to wear a mask 3 months into a pandemic is like bringing condoms to a baby shower.
Murri, I'm just going to touch briefly on COVID-19. If the president ordered a SIP order, a shelter-in-place order, for 2 to 3 weeks, for 21 days, we would end this. We would end COVID-19 in the United States.
I would say if the president came out and said to his followers, to his rabid beasts, listen, let's start wearing masks and show the libs that we're bigger than they are, he would stem the flow of the contagion dramatically.
No, because they'll say that the libs made him do it.
But I'm saying, if we had a president who modeled good behavior,
who hadn't
created such intense division in our nation, he would be in a much better spot.
We already have a vice president running for president that is modeling excellent behavior. People keep giving him hell about sheltering in place in his basement. What's he supposed to do right now? You can't go to places and meet with people because you can't. You just can't, you know? So he's doing a lot of stuff virtually. And if I hear one more person say, oh, he's hiding in his basement, that's where all his electronics are set up so he can communicate to the outside world. All of us, you're stuck in your bedroom, I'm in our studio, we're in separate spaces. This is the reality of this election cycle. And I may not be, you know, Joe's awful centrist for me, and I do like the man personally, you know, I mean, I like a lot about him, but, I guess Val Demings would have to be my choice. If we have to go, you know, from that small list of women of color, Val Demings would be the choice, but I keep thinking I just would love to have somebody more progressive like a Liz Warren, but you know, if wishes were horses, I'd have more of them, and I don't want any more of them. I've got a lot of them.
I think Val Demings would be a great choice. I think Kamala Harris would be a great choice.
Well, I have a feeling it's going to be Harris.
I think that's wonderful.
In fact, I'm going to predict right now
option.
It's going to be Harris.
Really?
Yeah. And
hey, you heard that right here.
I predict it'll be Harris, and I think if Warren has any place in it, it'll be Secretary of the Treasury. I think she'll be the next. I think she'll replace Mnuchin. Wouldn't that be great?
All right, well, folks, that's for sure. Thank you so much for tuning in. We've reached our time, and we appreciate you. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, you can catch us live, Facebook Live. But please, like, subscribe, share. Let everybody know that we're out here and that we want to amplify your voice. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in and commenting. We're a part of the Demcast USA Network. You can find us anywhere you get your podcasts. And if you want to look at the goofy faces that Murri makes and gets all animated, you can also do that at YouTube. It is Heartland Mamas.
MAMAS.com. See you later, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.